We seek refuge with God from the ousted Satan. In the name of God, the Most Exalted. Peace and salutation upon Prophet Muhammad and his progeny. Welcome to your show, Quran and Today's Life. As you're chasing our program from last sessions, we're talking about the Quran and today's life and the contemporary time and how we can use this Holy Quran for nowadays living time. So we have invited one of the prominent teachers and a scholar from the Islamic Seminary of Qom. He's going to tell us more detail about these things. Before everything, I think it's good to go to him and get to know him more. Okay, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Welcome to our show today, and it's a great honor for us to have you at this time here.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much. I'm grateful to be with you in this program.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time indeed. Sir, as you know, we're talking about the Holy Quran and today's life. We have talked about many things up to now so far, but for now, I would like to know, and maybe most of our viewers they would like to know about it, is about 14 centuries passed from the time the Quran has been sent down to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So, how we can say this Holy Quran now we have it in our hand? It's can help us and is useful to solve our today's problem. Would you elaborate and let us know about this?
Yes, of course. This is a very important question, that how you can have a message which is stable and a world which is changing. How you use this stable message for the changing world. So my answer is in different ways. One of them is that Quran does not deal with temporary issues or momentous issues, but deals with the nature of mankind, with the essence of mankind. And it is stable, it is unchangeable. Like, for example, formulas in mathematics, in sciences, which are eternal, permanent. For example, when you say in mathematics 2 plus 2 is 4, this is not changeable. 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years later is the same. This is stable. And the nature of mankind is like that. And Quran talks with mankind about the natural things in man and what is the characteristics of mankind. Today, they have a branch of knowledge, they call it anthropology. It means studying about mankind, nature of mankind, and also it has different branches. So this kind of studies you can find in Quran, solutions for problem of mankind, and how to implement it, how to bring it to practice, that depends on the intelligence and knowledge of people in any age, in any place, how to implement it in their time. But the nature of mankind is stable, does not have any change. This is one type of answer I can give to you. And another type of answer is that Quran also has different aspects and dimensions of meaning. One verse has not only one meaning. Everyone, according to his time, his place, his culture, and his problems, can discover different meaning from Quran and different perception from the same verse of Quran. So because of that, Quran is fresh all the time. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, says in one of his words that Quran does not become old, or for example, what we can say, out of fashion or out of time. Because any time you read it, you discover new meanings from it. That maybe you in the same time, in the same year, another time you have read it and you did not find this meaning. But another time, again when you read the same verse, according to your situation, to your problems, you can discover new meanings. And as much as the knowledge develops and man increases knowledge, Quran does not appear wrong or false or against the knowledge and science. But all the time, people find that Quran is compatible with all of the progresses of knowledge. It is unlike other books, because other books maybe they have interfered in scientific matters and, for example, presented ideas which are now rejected and left abandoned, like what happened for Old Testament and New Testament. But this did not happen in Quran. In contrast, as much as people gain more knowledge, more science, they find Quran more suitable to their world and to their data and information.
Okay, thank you, sir. But nowadays you see, for example, in daily life or in contemporary time, for example, we have some political tensions or chaos or crisis. And due to this, how Quran can help us to get out of these problems? For example, many moral problems, many ethical problems we are facing with. So, would you let us know about it?
Yes, Quran has principles. If you believe in them and practice them in your life, you can avoid a lot of clashes and disputes, like superpowers, big powers of the world. If they decrease their greed and imperialism and love of power and wealth, so they can avoid and restrain a lot of clashes and war and conflicts. So because of that, Quran says, inshallah, we will come to the issue of peace and war in Holy Quran in next episodes, and we will deal with this issue by the grace of God.
Okay, you talked about, for example, the superpowers or kings or so on and so forth. But how are the people, if they want to use the Holy Quran for nowadays living to solve many problems now they are facing with? So how are you going to advise them to use Holy Quran in this regard?
Even Quran has messages for wise people, for theologians, for ideologues of the countries, those who are policy makers of the countries or for the whole world. They can take advantage of Quran. Inshallah, we will deal with this issue in coming questions.
Okay, for example, nowadays, because we are talking about the problems, how we can solve through Holy Quran. For example, I as a person, I have, for example, financial problem nowadays. How Quran can help me to get rid of this problem, how solve it,
I will tell about it, inshallah, after a short break. We will come back to the viewers and we'll talk about it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let's have a short break and intermission. We'll be back again to talk about it more. Thank you. Dear audience, we'll be back again to you. Stick around. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for joining again. We are talking about the Holy Quran and today's life. So we were talking about the problems nowadays we're facing with it, and our expert was telling us about this case. Now let's go and know about what is the commentary and exegesis of Holy Quran. Okay, sir, thank you. Would you please elaborate about the thing I have raised now?
Yes, this is a branch of knowledge. In all of the religions, they have this knowledge. But maybe they have a different name for it. For example, in Christianity and Judaism, they call it in another name. They call it hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is the skill and knowledge how to explain meanings of the scriptures, of holy texts in Christianity and Judaism. But in Islam, they call it tafsir, or interpretation of Holy Quran, because all of the verses are not clear for ordinary people, those who don't have enough knowledge, prerequisitions of Quranic knowledge, they don't gain it. they need for some explanation. For example, if one place is mentioned in Quran, where is it really now? Geographically, where does it exist? For example, Tur Sinin, or in some of the verses says Al-Balad al-Amin. Where is Al-Balad al-Amin? Al-Qura, where is Al-Qura? Al-Madinah, where is Al-Madinah? Places. Or people who are mentioned in Quran, Al-Kafl, Musa, Isa, who are they? A short story and biography about them. Or some concepts and meanings which are not clear for people. For example, إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى. What is difference between al-adl, justice, and ihsan, for example, favoring, and for example, relationship to close relatives. So, and what are the conditions, what are the specifics of them? So a lot of things should be explained in Quran to bring the meaning closer to the mind of people. People from different levels, different, for example, backgrounds, different specialities, cultures. If they want to understand it, they need to know about the language Quran uses it, about the terms and words which are used in Quran, and about the type of referring and indication of verses of Holy Quran, because maybe people cannot understand it easily. Even Arabs, even very, for example, original Arabs, which they are influent in Arabic, sometimes they cannot grasp the whole meaning of the verse, and they need to some explanations.
So
like what happened for
and how?
For people of the time of Prophet Muhammad. Now we are 14 centuries far from that place which Quran revealed in, and that language which was used in the time of revelation of Quran. And you told me how we can take advantage of this text after 14 centuries.
Yeah.
Yes, we can take advantage of it if we bring ourselves closer to it and bring it closer to ourselves. This is the art of tafsir, or interpretation of Holy Quran.
So how and who is going to give us this interpretation, and who we have to seek for and follow?
From scholars, those who have studied this branch of knowledge, worked on it, it needs to some prerequisitions. Like I told you, first of all, there are linguistic skills, knowledges about Arabic language, literature, rhetorics in Arabic. They are also maybe 10, 12 branches. After linguistics, they need to general knowledge about Islam, Islamic concepts, in creeds, beliefs, in, for example, ethics, in jurisprudence, also about life of Prophet of Islam, about history of revelation, every verse in which situation, which time, which place was revealed, and what was the explanation of Holy Prophet about it, or for example, what were the events and incidents before it and after it. All of these knowledges, when they are combined, they form knowledge of tafsir, knowledge of interpretation of Holy Quran. Then you can find that people who write, for example, 20 volumes of tafsir, like Al-Mizan by Allama Tabatabai, the late Allama Tabatabai, or even some of them write 30, 40 volumes of tafsir. It is really in time and place, and Quran deserves all of these works because it needs to clarification and explanation. Like Imam Ali alayhi salam told, if I want, I can interpret one letter of Quran, even ba in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, letter ba, I can explain it in a way that if you want to have all of the volumes and notebooks of this interpretation, tens of camels should carry it. This is my knowledge. I can explain it for you in this way. So this is one letter of Quran, one verse of Quran, one chapter of Quran. How about the whole Quran? Maybe one word in Quran has several meanings. in this place has one meaning, in another place has another meaning. Yesterday somebody was asking me about the word barzakh in Holy Quran. One of the Christian brothers who is studying here and asked me what is barzakh in Quran. Despite he knows Arabic also. He had studied Arabic, literature and Islamic science. I told barzakh has two meanings in Quran. Okay. Sometimes it is used for a barrier in place. For example, in sea, when there is a wall, even unseen wall between, for example, sweet water and salty water. This is called barzakh. And sometimes it is barrier in time. For example, the time between death and resurrection is called barzakh in Quran. وَمِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمَ يُبْعَثُونَ. This is barzakh in time, barrier in time. And that is barrier in place, in a way that two seas are beside each other and they are not mixed with each other. So something is making them separated in place, in location. So even one word in Quran. So those who don't know about these usages and meanings and concepts, they cannot have a good understanding from Quran, good perception from, and maybe even they are misguided and misleaded. And because of that, they make mistakes. Even some of them, they hate Quran. They are hostile to Quran because they could not understand it. If there was somebody taught them about the real type of interpretation, explanation, and meaning of Quran, and they had another concept, they had another understanding, and they loved Quran. So many of people who don't like Quran in this world, the reason behind it is that they don't know Quran. They cannot understand Quran. They don't have a teacher. They don't have an expert to explain for them about the real meaning and real aim and goal of Holy Quran.
Thank you very much. So let's hold on here. We have a short break. We'll be back again. Okay? Dear audience, we'll be back again to you. Don't go away. Okay, thank you. We're back again. We're talking about the exegesis and the interpretation of Holy Quran. And our expert was telling us, about this case very deeply. So now we want to know, what is, is it easy to understand Holy Quran without any guide, any commentator of the Holy Quran? Or what is the role of them in this regard? And more especially about the holy imams in this case. So, sir, would you please let us know about the role of imams, and if they're not around, can we understand it without them? Or what is the necessity of having them to understand the guide, in this regard?
Imams are responsible to disclose the esoteric meaning of Quran, hidden meaning of Quran, which is not possible for ordinary people to discover them and understand them. And also to safeguard Quran from any kind of distortion, as we mentioned in former episodes. And also, if people they have dispute and the divergence in understanding about one verse of Quran, to make a solution and reconciliation between them and bring them closer to each other and make a kind of rapprochement and co-understanding between them. Because of that, if somebody studies Quran, maybe he gains something, but it is very few, and there is a great danger that he is misguided in many cases. Because of that, even Holy Quran gives us warning in this regard, warns us, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَمَا يُضِلُّ بِهِ إِلَّا الْفَاسِقِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides a lot of people by this Quran and misguides a lot of people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never misguides but those who are sinful and didn't follow Quran properly. So it is a great danger to read Quran. But in some verses are clear. For example, اعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله قل هو الله أحد. There is a surface and a simple level of meaning that everybody can have it and can understand it. But for deeper meanings, they need to explanation. Even sometimes this superficial meaning which is understood from Quran is not true and needs to an expert to verify it, to endorse it, to say, yes, this is authorized and this is true. So because it is a complicated text, it is a kind of a special text, it is a text of people who should be professional in understanding it. It is not a simple book which is wrote for everybody. Yes, there are messages in Quran for ordinary people that they can even receive it and grasp it without any help, without any assistance. It is like a book of law, even deeper than a book of law. People cannot only by reading book of law become lawyers or become experts in law. And also by reading books in medicine, they cannot be medical doctors. So this is more important than those books, because those books are in one branch of knowledge. And Quran covers all of the branches of knowledge, all of the aspects of man's life and of the universe. As I told you in former episodes, cosmology, anthropology, and all of the branches of knowledge are included in Holy Quran. Quran is not a scientific book, but deals with all of the scientific matters, deals with human being, deals with life in this world, in hereafter, after death life, heavens, hell, and angels, God, many things that is not possible for people to understand them easily without help of Quran. So help of Quran also needs to a live expert, which is Imam. And his word should be the final word. And his knowledge should be the higher knowledge in the whole world, that even all of the experts refer to him, and he says the last word in this regard.
Okay, thank you, sir. But nowadays, see, just the Holy Savior now is alive. All Imam, they are martyred or so on and so forth. So how nowadays we can use these commentaries of Holy Quran? Did they leave anything for us to grasp? Or can you bring some evidence from that time? For example, one of the Imams had interpreted the Holy Quran for some people, and this is now written in some books. Now we can use it?
Yes, in regard of former Imams, martyred Imams, yes. A lot of their teachings and cult exists in the books of tafsir, a commentary, in books of hadith, traditions, narrations, they exist. And today it is an ideal if we have one live Imam to take advantage of him. And for sure this live Imam exists, but he's not available for us. He's unseen. He is in occultation. And the reason behind it is people themselves. They are not deserving this Imam. They are not ready to receive this Imam and gather around him and obey him and practice what he says. So because of that, the perfect interpretation of Holy Quran is not possible for us. And the reason behind it are ourselves. But a level of it, part of it is available through the experts, those who are knowledgeable in religion, those who are deep and profound in knowledge, and they are the closest model, possible model to the infallible Imam. And those people are called mujtahids or marjaz or jurists, very pious and virtuous jurists who implement their religion sincerely and devotedly. So they can have a level of understanding of Holy Quran which is enough for us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it from us, because the real Imam and the infallible Imam is not available.
Okay. Would you please let us know which, commentaries of Holy Quran nowadays we have in hand? They're more reliable, and you advise us to benefit and get advantage from them.
Those commentary books which they use different methods for clarification of verses. Amongst them are traditions, narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, because the Holy Prophet told the nation of Islam, Ummah of Islam, I am leaving two precious and weightless things amongst you. Number one is Holy Quran, and number two are my descendants and close relatives. So if you follow them, both of them, I guarantee for you that you are saved and you gain success and salvation in hereafter. So if we follow those books which not only use verses of Quran and comments and opinions of ordinary scholars, but even they use the other ثقلين إني تارك فيكم الثقلين كتاب الله وإترتي أهل بيتي ما إن تمسكتم بهما لن تذلوا أبدا وإنهما يردان على الحوض.
Okay, thank you. So would you please, for this last moments, mention one of the names? For example, you mentioned Al-Mizan.
Yeah.
And
we have a lot of books in tafsir in school of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, like Tibyan by Sheikh Al-Tusi, passed away in the year 460 after Hijrah. Also books which are mentioning only traditions, like Nur al-Thaqalain by Huwayzi, and Tafsir al-Safi by Al-Kashani, Faiz al-Kashani. And also there are simplified tafsir like Tafsir Namuna and other books.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Okay, dear audience and viewers, thanks for your time. I hope you watch us in next session. Have a nice time. Till then, bye.